I'm hitting go. Go live, go live. We are going live. Hello, Instagram. Connect video. Yes, I did. There we go. And we're live on both. Yay. Hello, world.
Okay.
Hello, hello. It's you and me today.
There we go.
Cheryl's in hair and makeup. So how are things going, guys? We're gonna have some fun here. Yes, I'm known as Mr. Maple Syrup, and we'll get into that.
Hey, Jennifer. No.
Hi, Carol.
I'm not in hair and makeup. That's why I'm not on. I haven't done it for 2 days.
That is ridiculous. You're beautiful whether you have it on or not.
Well, see you next week.
All right.
That's a promise.
Love you. Yes.
That's a promise. All right, we have a
Love you
promise.
too.
You'll be gone next week.
Oh, I'll be gone, but we'll still do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll still be going. We'll still. I'm going to be in. I'll be in Las Vegas. Are you going to be able to make that trip, Jennifer? Probably yes. No. Don't know.
Yeah.
Not,
No.
Okay.
Not gonna
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So, guys, tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of things, and our topic every Sunday we get together, and usually Cheryl, and you heard her voice, and she's not in hair and makeup, but she hasn't worn hair and makeup for the last 2 days. Hey, Vicki, nice seeing you. I'm glad you're there. And she spent the day doing decorations for Christmas, but also took decorations down from Halloween. And I'll give you a quick tour after a bit, Jennifer, just so you can kind of catch some of these things. But our serious topic and reason that we do this is to talk about metabolic health, specifically Alzheimer's dementia, with Cheryl's story, because she's an identical twin. And her identical twin, Sharon, at age 54, was diagnosed and 7 years later passed from the complications and or dementia. Alzheimer's. And so that's one of the, yes, and I stand corrected as always. That's the reason I have Cheryl in my life. But the whole thing is that on this serious topic, also we have been caregivers, our caregivers have family members, and we want to talk about this because it's not talked about certainly enough and not educated enough with people and true stories. And we want to give people hope, but there's also the whole world of understanding signs and symptoms and how did we get here. And so there's things that we want to relate to people because, like I just got done saying on another show, is that I am tired, sick and tired, literally, of going to funerals. I mean, I'm just tired of going to funerals for people. I'm 74. I just turned 74, and Cheryl's ghost voice, she just turned 80. And we'll match our 154 years of energy against anybody's and our health. But I'm alive. I'm blessed to be alive. We'll talk about that later. And Cheryl's fit as a fiddle, and yesterday and tomorrow, but her identical twin, mirror twins, developed Alzheimer's at an early age of 54. And how does that happen? And is there hope? And how do we care for it? And what are our concerns? And how are we going to do this? So that's just kind of where we're talking about. This is why this precipitated. And I met Jennifer in Miami, right? It was in Miami. Is that where I met you?
Yes.
And, kind of fun meeting. And the whole thing is that we struck up conversations because we have things in common. Mm-hmm. And I've learned about Jennifer, some of her history. Now, we're on the same team. Mm-hmm. We are all about metabolic health. Mm-hmm. And we have our story, our journeys. And we hear stories, dare I say hundreds a week, and see images and pictures of people's stories that are doing and following the same protocol that we had found independent of each other, and are utilizing independently, and are seeing results variationally. There's all kinds of results because everyone is affected differently from their metabolic systems or energy systems. But Jennifer is also a caregiver, and she's a caregiver, and I won't take that away from her. She'll talk about that in a little bit. But what we want to do is give people hope, because number one, with the more and more research that's coming out on a weekly basis, we are seeing, and more at the cellular level, the causes, the potential reversals, improvable and preventable of this condition. Think about it. And this is, sometimes we get considered conspiracy theorists or something like that. If we go against the norm, isn't that kind of it? If we just don't follow blindly down the street, if we say, hey, wait a minute, let's just think about this for a second. I mean, just a blind second. Is there any kind of relation between, I don't know, maybe the taking out of fiber from our food with the introduction of processing, ultra processing, with the introduction of high fructose corn syrup and all the other derivatives from the chemistry lab, from the introduction of the tobacco industry, owning the food industry for a couple of decades, knowing how to make things addictive. Is there any, and in that correlational timeline, I mean, I don't know. What do I know? I mean, I'm just an old guy, right? But if you start looking at those events on a timeline, and you look at the increase of the maladies on that same timeline, you'll see it goes like this. Oh, and if you just want to add one more thing into it, at the increase of medications, availability of medications, at that same timeline, I don't know if there could possibly be any relationship to those numbers type of thing. Because I'm 70. What do I know? I'm 74. All I know is, Jennifer, you were born before or after 1970?
After.
You're born after 1970. So you have only known the modern day food environment.
Absolutely.
You've only known high fructose corn syrup. You've only known all the snacky foods. You've only known all of that. You didn't know anything before grass-fed beef. There was just beef. Yeah. We didn't have gluten allergies. We didn't have, if someone in my school in South Dakota, now you could say, well, in South Dakota, you guys are poor and starving. No, come on. We ate, I'm Filipino, but we ate good German food. I mean, potatoes and homemade bread and desserts and Fleischkikla and Kuchen and, oh my goodness gracious, all the good hot potato salads and strudels and pretzels. Anyway, so we ate well. But we ate 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you grew up eating how many times a day?
Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert, snack.
Huh. Yeah. So 7 times a day.
In between all my munching too.
Oh, yeah. Munching. Oh, okay. So munchings you don't count as snacks. So a snack is a real thing.
A little nibble here, a little nibble there.
Oh, okay. So a snack is actually a deliberate bar or something, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a real thing. Right. Nibbles going by somebody's desk don't count as snacks.
No.
See, we didn't have any of that, but we also didn't have large people. Obesity wasn't a thing in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Obesity wasn't a thing. Diabetes wasn't a thing. Alzheimer's wasn't a thing. Now, the one thing that happens, because what we do know, and one of the things we want to help educate people on, is that what we talk about is insulin resistance in the old days would take 15 to 20 years before it would manifest as diabetes, before it would manifest as Alzheimer's, before it would manifest as all the diseases, the non-alcoholic fatty liver. We really didn't have non-alcoholic fatty livers. We just had fatty livers, and that was a poor guy or gal that was sugar addicted to alcohol. I mean, alcohol is sugar. That's a sugar addiction. It's a drug. Sugar is a drug. Add it together, it's all the same. A rose by, what did Shakespeare say? Jane, didn't Shakespeare say a rose by any other name smells just as sweet? You know, so sugar is sugar, alcohol is sugar, right? It's addictive. It's addictive. It's how it goes. And they proved that in laboratories, gosh, 100 years ago in America. Was it Columbia? I thought it was. It's under Dr. Robert Luswig's book. I know it's in a chapter. He talks about that early research in terms of sugar and the addictiveness of sugar. And the tobacco industry used that information to help make tobacco, cigarettes, more addictive. But all of those kinds of things, the point of my story, long a gated thing here, and I'm going to get Jennifer to talk about her family and her care, is I just want to, I get so passionate about the causation. How did we get here? We're here. And I'll talk about my symptoms of, not blabbermouth, my symptoms of brain fog, that it was almost going into Alzheimer's dementia.
Yeah.
So that's where the passion comes in from, guys. That's really, really what we want to talk about. But Jennifer, tell us, let's talk a little bit about you and your family and as a caregiver, and what's some of your story?
Well, if we want to start from the beginning, of course, I learned a little bit prior to meeting you in Miami that I am too insulin resistant, and I am working towards the insulin sensitivity. My grandmother, which George will pop up there she is. My grandmother Helen, sadly had passed from Alzheimer's. Wonderful, beautiful woman. Short little thing, loved baking, loved making cookies. And it's interesting, my grandmother passed away when I was a teenager, and I would only see her on holidays because I lived in Michigan, she lived in Florida, and we had, families in both states. So I would see her at Christmas time, I would see her during spring break, and the parts that I saw growing up, I didn't know that something was wrong. It wasn't until I started to overhear that Grandma had wandered away. And I was like, well, where did Grandma go? She would leave her condo and go walking in the condo complex. She'd get lost. She didn't know how to get back. My grandfather was older than her and dealing with his own health issues. And in the process of all of this, my grandmother had fallen and broken her hip. At that point, she was not able to be released back into the care of my grandfather. She had to go into a nursing facility. So my grandmother dealt with migraine headaches, like debilitating. And as George knows, one of the last visuals that I had of my grandmother was her holding her head with a migraine in a wheelchair. And it was like she was trying to turn the noise off. My grandmother was very confused. She thought I was her daughter, Karen. She thought my dad, David, was her husband, Lawrence. And then she thought my uncle, who was 6 foot something, was a terrorist and wanted to push him out a window. So we went from confusion, wandering, not recognizing people for who they are, to agitation. And like I tell George and others all the time, if I would have known about the protocol that we used years ago, I absolutely would have given it to my grandmother. At this stage of my life, my mother and father, I'm a caregiver for both of my parents. I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I'm still learning to navigate. And George and Cheryl have been excellent in assisting me with that process on this journey for myself. I've also met another woman who deals directly with Medicare. So it's like the power, I always call them the metabolic gods. So the metabolic gods are bringing in these chosen people right in front of me to help assist me in learning more, being able to educate others about what I've learned. And some days it's pretty scary. I've gone through, within the last month and a half, two rounds at the hospital with my mother. This last time she had low hemoglobin, had to stay a couple days, get some blood transfusions. And when you're the full-time caregiver, there is not a lot of room for self. So for me, when it came to my health, I was on cholesterol meds, anxiety meds, depression meds, insomnia meds. I was dealing with, I'm postmenopausal, and I would get easily agitated even on all of these medications, even when I was trying to take care of myself. And since starting this 5 months ago, I've been able to not have to take medication anymore. And the biggest gift when it came for me was when my mother looked at me, and mind you, my mother is legally blind, turns her head towards me and says, "You're so much happier now." And I just kind of looked at her and I was like, "I beg your pardon? What do you mean I'm happier now? You seem different. You seem like you have more energy. You have more life to you." And as the time passes, I'm finding that I'm feeling stronger in my role as a caregiver. I'm off all of those meds, especially the statin that is really not good for your body. That is my personal opinion. I sleep better than I ever have. And I'm able to show up for my parents. We have a laundry list of physical issues between my parents. Alzheimer meds for my dad, a plethora of like 13, 14 pills for my mom, and then you add the eye drops. So my daily tasks outside of working and educating is I'm on constant rotation between the two parents. And it can be physically draining, but it can be possible. And mom has started the protocol as well. Does it a little bit differently than I do, but I can tell when she is consistent with at least drinking a tea a day that her cognition is much better. Her IBS symptoms are not as severe. And when you're trying to educate somebody my mom's going to turn 80 in December, and educating someone when all they know is snacking, 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 snacking makes it a challenge when you try to re-educate and let's have some fiber first and have a protein. Well, I want a cookie. Okay, well, let's have this first. Because I know when you're done, you'll feel full and you will feel better. And so mom is very willing. We call it the attempt. She attempts every day. So she takes the action. Dad, on the other hand, is more comfortable with his 3 pills a day. And sadly, my dad is pre-diabetic and has high cholesterol. And at this stage of the game, I think he's starting to deal with depression. He's got short-term memory loss and gets easily confused, easily agitated when he gets confused. But some days it's one moment at a time. And that's really only that's all I can do is take one moment at a time, or call my friends and say, what did you do, or how did you do this? And George knows firsthand. I've called him and Cheryl in absolute tears saying, I don't know what to do. How do I do this? And having people to bounce information off of is so important. And listening to others when they share what is happening with their loved ones, the brain fog, the confusion, the repetition in the questions and the answers, not being able to recall maybe 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago, or losing train of thought in the middle of sentences, reminding my mom especially that this is where dad's at. You need to meet him where he's at. Repeatedly saying things is not helpful. So it's really like a retrain, George. And I don't know if you felt that with your brothers and sisters when it came to your mom. But really retraining and educating each other. Was that something that you guys all do as well?
I think with our mom, my mom thinks my mom is 96. Our mom's 96, lives in her own home. And like I agree 100%. If I would have known what saved my life, literally saved my life. If I had known that a decade ago, I think 5 years ago, mom would not be in this situation. I 100% know that. I believe it. And how? Because I've seen enough clinical evidence. But for the caregiver side of it, Deborah, you pointed out a big thing is that one of the things that happens, one of the things we see frequently with caregivers, especially family, is that the family caregiver deteriorates physically faster than the person with the malady, with the issue. And that was your case too, wasn't it, Jennifer?
Yes. And George, through the things that we both have been learning and educating other people about the things that we're learning, I don't want to be a statistic. I don't want to be the caregiver that passed before their loved ones because they were burnt out, put their health last. Literally, this is saving my life.
Right. And seriously, I mean, and as daughter, a female, and I don't really care, like people call me sexist, but girls, moms are more prone to being the caregiver because they've been the caregiver all their lives. Guys, we showed up. We're like a barbershop quartet. Here we are, and there we go. We're off to work. We come home, we eat, we watch TV, we go to sleep. Mom's got the kid up, got us all fed, got us out the door, went to work or whatever. Everybody comes home, we get fed, we get bathed, we get put away. There's no break. And guys, I got to go golf. I'm going to go poker night, Mom wants out. She gets to go out with the other moms to a soccer game or something. I don't know. It's stereotyping sexist, but that's really the majority. If you look at the majority of the caregivers right now, if we took a snapshot of all the caregivers in America, a gargantuous percentage of them would be female. And if they're caring for someone in a health situation, certainly a mental health with dementia, Alzheimer's, wow, your physical being goes down, your mental being goes down because the stress is always on, which means that the nasty cortisol hormone is constantly on. which
Yes.
means your insulin is doing double battle, especially if you're snacking and eating emotionally. You're not reaching for a celery stick. You're reaching for a ho-ho, a Dorito, and an energy drink, right? I mean, you're not looking at what's the most keto-friendly piece of food I could eat. I'm going to eat just carnivore. That doesn't happen. You don't get to do that. You know, a lot of times you're going to eat the same food you're given, unfortunately, feeding the patient, if you will. That's going to be what? Carbs. Why? Because that's what they want. That's all they know. That's all, I mean, and so then we become the caregivers become the victim as well, as secondary. And so, yeah. So I understand that, and we see it all the time. And so with my brothers and sisters, we kind of knew going into with mom this kind of a thing. Our grandmother lived to 100, and Aunt Lois was 103, or that, or 103, 106. I mean, the girls go forever. I mean, that's just the rule. Guys, we kind of check out early because we can. But the whole thing is that we kind of had seen this picture a little bit. But Grandma Ida, she didn't have Alzheimer's at all. She had no. She would tease the heck out of you and fake things so she would get help that she didn't really need. Like she couldn't see, right? I understand mom has certified, but grandmother was like, oh, she, when you read to her, I can't, so you kind of, but I caught her one day. I was on her bed watching. She's in a lounge chair, lift chair, and I'm sitting on her bed, and then the TV's at the end there, and the weather was on. It was going to be X amount in Springfield. It says, oh, look, it's going to be 84 in Springfield. And she goes, oh, yeah, and it's going to be 82 in Peoria and 81. And I looked at Grandma, and I go, you bugger. Because she could read she was reading. She just milked everybody for that. But I remember, when she wanted to go to assisted living, and I remember, Georgie, would you move? Georgie, I want to go to Hopedale. Well, you want to go? All my friends there. So in Hopedale's a little town community where there's great facility, hospital, and all that connected. So okay, so she goes. We move her there, and she's the only ambulatory one in the entire wing. Now, mind you, she's 80-something, if not 90-something. And then a couple of years later, she calls, Georgia, would you move me? I go, wait, where? Oh, I'm going to move me with your mom. I go, does she know? And why you want to move? Well, they raised the price up like $500, and she wasn't going to pay $500 more. So.
Oh.
So then mom and they lived together for a while, and she fell and broke her hip at 98 or something like that. Normally a fractured hip was the death sentence. That's not the case anymore. Yeah. At 98, they can put a new hip in and let go for another 20 miles. But anyway, so then she went back. She went back to the nursing home, assisted living, not nursing, but assisted living, and had breakfast one day and died. So that was it. Mom, on the other hand, 10 years ago, received a national award, one of her Hall of Fame awards from coaching from all the things she did for kids. And that's like right here. That's mom getting an award, and one of the 3 Hall of Fames that she's in for things she did for the youth. Mom at age 51 went back to college. At age 56 was an RN and an ED, had a doctorate at 56. That's our mom. She's 96 now. And she lives in her own home. And we're blessed. We have a niece that's 24/7, boots on the ground. We have all kinds of other electronics and things in the house for all those kinds. And we slowly morphed into this whole thing. We now also have respite for her twice a week, and we have hospice that comes in a couple times a week. So we have all those kinds of systems. And then brothers, I'm the oldest of 10, 5 brothers and 5 sisters. You can see the head count right there. We kind of look like the same. And everybody's in for during a month. My brother from South Dakota and his wife were just here this over Thanksgiving. And a sister that lives close, 20 miles away, 30 miles away, and I normally 20 miles away. We're there to be there, and when necessary, needed for all the kinds of things. So we have an incredibly strong family unit, and a system, and where you are it.
I'm the Lone Ranger. That's all I keep saying.
Yeah, and so and here's the thing: if it's not you, who? If it's not you, where?
And George, I've been toiling with that. I'm 50 years old. I'm single. I want to be there for my parents, but I also want to have a life. And that's been the recent battle going on for a couple months now, and I cannot in good conscience not have somebody here. And I went to the convention where I saw you, and I was gone for one day. I woke up at 5 a.m. so I wouldn't be staying the night. Drove there, did the convention, got home at 9 o'clock at night, and unfortunately, I left papers. This is what you need to do for the animals. This is what you need to do for mom. If she takes a pill, you have to write it down because the doctor needs to see it. Over here is the eye drop schedule. And I came back and everything was blank. I already knew what was going to happen, but I needed one of the parties to understand. I needed my blind mother to understand that my dad could not fulfill just following a sheet of paper.
Yeah, and didn't you have before that before we were in our last event? Didn't you have clinical review?
Yes, I had. They both have seen the neurologist now.
Right.
Mom, when she first started going, she had suffered a concussion. So she had post-concussion syndrome, which lasted about a year. So what they do is they verbally test you with different skills. They have you write things down. They have you maybe draw a picture. Things like, let's do a clock face, and I need you to put the numbers around the clock, and then I need you to draw the lines to say this amount of time. At the beginning, when she first got tested, she couldn't do that. Even if she can't see, she has minimal vision in the left eye, so she would get really close and try to draw this or draw it from what her memory would tell her. So out of 30 questions, this last time she's at 28. So that part of it has improved. When Dad went, he actually scored a 28 on his first visit. And the neurologist had said if it wasn't for the 2 Alzheimer's meds he was on, the number would have been lower. So I've got 2 in cognitive decline. Mom's short-term memory is better. It's her recall that's delayed. And then you have Dad, whose short-term memory has tanked. And even if it's a phone call, he puts the phone down. You say, how did the call go? He said, it's fine. Okay, well, who are you talking to? I don't know. Even if, like earlier, he needed some batteries for a thermostat. I said, okay, go get the bin. It's in this closet. So he goes to get these items, and it sounds like a simple task. But when he's done, he walked away, and I said, okay, I need you to put the bin back in the closet. Oh, do I have to? I said, it would be nice, so then we don't have to clean it up later. So I'm in the stage of, I have adult children, in a sense, but they're my parents. So, you know, I already raised 2 daughters. They're grown. So I'm kind of in the middle now because I've got my younger brother over here. I've got my parents over here, and I'm sandwiched in between them. And on the one hand, I'm the bad guy and the villain. And on the other hand, I'm the daughter. I need you, but I don't want you here, and I don't want to go to assisted living.
Right. And then the doctor at least gives some validation to that, give you some opportunity to fall back on. Well, that it's not mean daughter.
Right.
Right. It's like, well, doc said you get to fall
And that's, yeah, I had asked, they were in individual appointments, and I was there with both of them during their individual appointments. And I had asked, do you feel they are competent enough in their current state if I moved out? And they said, he said, it is my medical opinion that you, Karen, you, David, have the ability to make a decision for yourself before your decision is taken away. Because in a situation that I'm in, if it gets progressively worse with either person, decisions have to be made and their rights get taken away. Like with my grandmother, her right to go home was taken away because my grandfather couldn't care for somebody who wandered and had a broken hip. So he automatically said to both of them, it would be in your best interest to consider highly to move to an assisted living where you've got the main living, and then each step up has either more nurses, more doctors, more medical professionals. And at this point, I mean, mom requires a lot of attention. There's a lot of medications. There's a lot of eye drops. She can't make meals for herself. You know, there's a lot of things that go into it. And, you know, in the role that I'm in, it's you clean, you cook, you try to, you do the best you can with 2 grown people that don't want to do it your way, that think you're wrong, and everything I have to bounce back off. The doctor said, yes, you cannot take your own medications anymore. I have to bring them to you. The doctor said. So it's really an emotional battle when you're like, I'm trying to do what's best for you. So I've had to revert back to the doctor said, and remember when I was a child and you were teaching me a different way. That's what I'm trying to do with you.
And didn't your dad say something about you should maybe stop drinking the tea?
And I'm laughing only because my dad said, you need to stop drinking that tea because you have entirely too much energy. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Because you remember, I'm doing the dishes. I'm cleaning up after everybody. I'm working. I have a full-time remote job. I'm also educating on social media about the protocol that I'm on in metabolic health. And I'm walking my little soon-to-be 14-year-old dog on short little walks. I mean, I go all day long. So when it's time, when I'm done at like 10:30, 11, 12, I'm done. Like, I'm off. Like, you know, I don't hear phone dinging unless my dad comes into the bedroom to wake me up. There's nothing. So yeah, dad thinks I have too much energy. I don't know. I'm like Cheryl. I mean, I took down Thanksgiving. I cleaned. I have to half the house. So half the house, I've scoured the floors. Christmas threw up yesterday. That's done. I'm celebrating mom's birthday with 9 other people on Saturday. They're coming here. So I've got more to do. And thank goodness for my energy, because before all this protocol, there was none of that. I was like, no, we're going out. We're going anywhere else but here because I just can't.
Now, how are you doing meal planning? How are you doing meal planning?
You know, every time, okay, so they do their own My dad does breakfast. Mom sometimes intermittent fasts. Doesn't eat breakfast. But now dad's a different topic. When it comes to mom, now I also do, I do some lunches and I do dinner for sure. I always make sure that there is a fiber, a protein, healthy fats, and if they must have, the staple is I need the potato. Okay. So I've made the portions of potato smaller. Anytime they go to eat, don't forget, eat your fiber first and then have a lot of that protein. And it's funny because when you have people that are in cognitive decline, or in my case, a parent, there's a little bit of manipulation coming from the parent. Oh, I'm too full. I'm done. Okay. They've had some protein. They've had the whole potato. They've had some vegetables. Okay. But they got room for a lot of dessert. Okay. So let's go back. And it's, I make sure that there's always a protein. There's always fiber. There's always fresh vegetables in season. And I stress, okay, well, don't forget to eat your fiber. Don't forget to eat this. Don't eat the chicken. The chicken is most important because the biggest complaint that they give me is they're always tired. Well, yes, because their insulin is doing this all day long because I need a pretzel. I need a bowl of ice cream. I need some chips. And the most dangerous thing to do is to sit a man down and a woman in front of the TV with a bag of chips. Because if any of you are like me and like my dad, you have no idea how much you're eating because you're in the tunnel of the TV. And you're spiking like this, and then you're sleeping, and then you're awake. So dad takes probably 15 naps a day because each task requires a nap. So when it comes to the meal plan, I offer the tea to my dad. No. I'm good. Okay. Not even a sip? I'm going to taste the flavor? No, I'm good. Okay. Mom, yes, I would like, and sometimes she'll remind me as I'm setting the table and putting the food out. You didn't give me my fiber.
Good mom. Way to go.
So yes, a little mix of a packet. Mom has got this in her head. She cannot eat without her fiber.
Perfect. You got it.
Total win. Total win.
Absolutely win. Absolutely. I love it. Good. Congratulations. So one of the things that we want to kind of talk about is, some of the early signs of dementia that people that are watching, you might find yourself, and I did too, and I didn't even know, but it scared the yesterday and tomorrow out of me a year ago. And part of the thing is that my blood sugar, unbeknownst to me, was so far out of control, I literally shouldn't be here talking with us. I mean, I should have died. Clinically, my blood sugar, fasting blood sugar, was over 800. It's 834. Normal is you'd want to be at a 90. You're diabetic if you're 102. People die at 600. The monitors that people stick themselves with don't read past 5. I was at 8 on a fast, 834. And my A1C was 18.1. Now, an A1C is a measurement, a 90-day, in essence, a 90-day measurement of the amount of glucose, the amount of sticky syrup on your red blood cell. So the red blood cell's job is to do what? Carry oxygen around the body. So its job is to carry oxygen. My A1C was 18.1. That means that 20% of my red blood cells couldn't carry oxygen to my body, to my cells. 18.1 plus a blood sugar of 834, I should be like all the other funerals I've been to lately. And I'm tired of funerals. But I found this protocol. In 90 days, my blood sugar went from 834 to 90. And anyway, so I just want you to understand that when you start talking about these kind of things, my story is I shouldn't even be able to be here to tell the story. But when I was going through this time, there's so many symptoms, and I'll go through some that you have, but talking just about mental. See if any of these make sense to you. See if you recognize these maybe in yourself, a spouse, a friend, someone you care about. Do you have memory losses,
Yep.
especially on newly learned information? You ever just said, Dad hung up the phone, didn't remember who he talked to?
Yep.
Do you ever get someplace and you don't know how you got here and you drove? Yeah. Oh, we're here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're reading gas station signs and you forgot what the last one was and you're trying to shop for gas, whatever that price was? Or do you repeatedly ask for dates? What was that date? When we're doing that? Wait, what date? When is that? When was that? Constant things that you should know. Birth dates. Now, I will promise you, I do not remember birth dates because birth dates, I don't know. I know mine. I know a few, but I know the months for most people. But to get stuck to the date, I have never. That's not been me. However, if you're the person that has always known that date but can't remember it, or the year, you've always known it, but now you don't remember even the year. Was that? Maybe that was that like 19? The guys, those are signs not of aging. Now let's say it's aging because what's happened is, remember over time, I said 10 to 15 years, that blood sugar starts building up in your system. It used to take 10 to 15 years to get to that number. You guys are doing it in 10, 5. We're finding children as young as 2.5 as type 2 diabetic, and don't tell you it's genetic. It's all related to what we're talking about, that food got us into this mess, food will get us out. But yeah, what about challenges planned? You're going to have there's a recipe. You may know we're in food season. This is sugar season. I don't care what you say. It's sugar. We just got done with the orange pumpkins, and now we just had the brownish turkey, and now we're going to the pinkish ham, and then we're going to the medium rare prime rib with dessert all around it. I mean, it's dessert sugar time. I mean, come on, that's really what it is. It's dessert. And so whatever it is, those kinds of things, let's say, but you have a recipe. Jennifer, grandma who did was Mexican wedding cakes was her
Mexican
thing?
wedding cakes, yes.
Yeah, right? I mean, she knew that recipe until she
didn't. Yep.
Or until she didn't.
And when you just pointed out forgetting the year, most people know their phone number. If you've had the phone, like, for example, my dad asked me the other day what year it was. This has been going on for the last year. Always gets confused on the year. Has no clue. My dad tries to stay in the moment as much as possible because his watch has the date. It'll tell him the day of the week and the date. If he can't see the date, he doesn't know what day it is. And even with phone numbers, he remembers his cell phone number because he had that 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Same number. But you ask him the house number, he has no clue.
Yeah. So it's the
So
little things like that. It's the little things that even simple things like paying your bills.
oh yeah.
Did I pay? Did I pay the bill?
Uh-huh. Or I think I did. Let me check.
Maybe.
They
And
can
then
send
forget
you
where you're supposed to check or how to check, right?
yes.
I mean, we laugh at it, but it's really real.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that goes on. And so
Mm-hmm.
then those are just memory thoughts and changes. But what about, you misplaced something? I mean, can't
Mm-hmm.
find what do we all say? Well, I can't find my phone. So
Yep.
now you've got a tracker or some other device to find the other device that you can't find. And
Yep.
that's where I was. Oh, wait, how did I leave it in the bath? So now I said, how did I leave it in the bath? When was it in the bathroom? What's it? Oh, it's in the laundry. Where would I, or your glasses or your watch or your keys, your coat, your gloves,
Mm-hmm.
your purse, your bag, your handbag, the whatever. I mean, those are little things that are telling you, giving you signs that there's something going on. And sometimes maybe you can't find something,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't even retrace your steps because you don't know where you were or how you got there.
Yeah.
Well, why would it be in the refrigerator? Right? Why? What? How did that happen? Where did this, those types of things are real. Those are the real things. And there's little things, but they grow. For me, one of the signs that I was so confused when I had my numbers were out at 834 of fasting. Can you imagine? I don't even want to try to imagine what my numbers were normally, because that was a 20-hour fast. I'm here, and I'm blessed, and thank you, Jesus, for keeping me.
You have a purpose to be here. One of them is for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm thankful for it. But the thing is that one day, and where I lived, I just back in and out of my driveway, and it's 2 car lengths long. That's how long my driveway is, and then not even a garage, just a driveway. And I drive one house, and there's a stop sign. It's a T intersection. Got to go right or left. Remember, one day I made 5 trips to that stop sign. I back out. I go up. What's the first thing you always forget? My phone. So good. So I turn around, go back, unlock the house, go in the house. There's there's my phone. Got my phone. Got in the car. Got it. Oh, my book bag. Turn around. Oh, my lunch. 5 times I made that trip. Think I was worried? Think I was concerned? Yes, very. Because there's other times when I'd be talking. Hey, Ross, I love you, buddy. When I'd be talking to somebody and I'd stop. Now, I don't know if the other person saw me stop, but I stopped. And I'm trying to think of what in the heck was I going to say, or what that next word was, or maybe it was a name or a place that I should know. I should remember, just like a game show answer, just pop it off. Sometimes literally in my head, I was playing Wheel of Fortune. I was trying to buy a vowel. I know there's an R in it. And then when I would mentally think I had long enough of a pause, I'd go change the subject, or I'd go over to this or go over to that. I would move out of that conversation. I was concerned, deeply concerned about those types of things. And when the blood sugar results came in, that didn't tell me anything about my mind, But as we've learned, and as we reverse those numbers, so has all of that.
Mhm.
So has the memory loss. So has the inability to. And you've been around me enough times, and you hear I just spot off a song. I just like, where did that come from? And you're like, all of a sudden, I got a jingle from 19 some odd time when before it was a radio jingle. Good gravy. So those types of things are there, and the ability to come up with a recipe or cook a recipe, like coquille Saint Jacques is one of my favorite recipes to do, and it's pretty simple, but you got to do things and got to do them right in the right order. But those types of mental things are really issues, and then sometimes, and I think you've referred to your parents are kind of withdrawn a tad socially. I'm
Oh,
surprised
yes.
that yeah, Oscar Mayer winner. There you go, Ross. I'm surprised that mom has for her birthday people coming over. That's pretty exciting. That they're going to come over because that's outside of right. That's outside of the normal
Routine.
routine for her because if you start seeing people kind of withdraw, don't seek out other friends, they used to hang around these people, now they don't. They're, oh, maybe it's even social gatherings like churches or social clubs, older, the VFWs and the Legions and the Lions and the Satomas and the Elks and your Shriners and those types of things. And people start backing away from social gatherings, and they also become a little bit more depressed, anxious, anxiety. Those are all signs.
Yeah, we definitely have that going on here. The withdrawal, the depression, from friends and from family. And I have some family members that do not understand when I tell them, I'm sorry they didn't call because your loved one passed away. I don't think they're mentally capable. And the responses you get in a situation like that are shocking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you need to tell them, is what I was told. And I'm
Sure.
like, I don't know what you want me to do when someone is withdrawn. They're getting older. Maybe they have a fear of dying themselves. They're confused. They don't know how to help themselves right now. So there's nothing I can say to them. So just know that I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, because we know from working with, right, that there are points and levels that you just can't press past. And because it doesn't matter to be right. Some people, to be right doesn't win anything. To keep peace
Mm-hmm.
and live another day so you're able to fight a real war when it comes up.
Right.
You pick your battles, right?
Absolutely.
Some things are non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Getting your eye drops, non-negotiable. Hey, puppy, taking your pills, non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna eat ice cream 5 times a day. Can we get it down to 4?
If you've got your meds and you've got your eye drops, we're good.
Yeah, it's a reward system, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So those really diagnosis, guys, of what we're talking about, those memory things can be stress related. That's how but that's what we really believe happened to Cheryl's sister to develop the Alzheimer's. The cortisol stress was the issue because they ate well. They didn't eat bad food. She's a good cook. But eventually she couldn't remember a recipe that she cooked 100 times. Then on a big event, she couldn't remember she put the flour in, didn't do this, and you dump the whole thing and start over. That's, you can see those types of issues that's really what happens is tough. But so there is hope. And the hope is that we want to share with everybody. And Jennifer's an incredible girl, guys. Jennifer, on November 9th, my birthday, in memory of no, that was it. But in memory of a grandmother, was part of a host of Walk for Alzheimer's in Miami, Boca Raton, actually.
Boca Raton, yeah.
Boca Raton, and so proud of you for doing that, and then being an active voice in that. And that is a critical thing. So being active and positive, seeking out help as a caregiver, getting a respite, looking for resources, using those, acknowledging the fact that you cannot save everyone 24 hours a day if you can't and won't save yourself first.
Yep.
Because airlines teach you how to do this. Airlines say in the unlucky loss of cabin pressure, a mask will fall down, put it over your mouth and nose first, so because we don't want to hear you scream anymore. But what it really are saying is that save yourself first so that you can save others. Because if you don't if you try to save others first, you won't save anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very proud of you for doing that. And the part of the issue is that to make this work easier, simpler, is to do what, Jennifer?
You know, I use a simple two-step protocol. I use a tea. I don't eat breakfast. I fast until lunch with my tea. If I choose to have a lunch, I personally have a fiber and then my meal. And then after lunch, I do another tea. If I'm feeling zesty that day and I want to have a dinner, I have another fiber and then I have dinner. This gives me my mental clarity that I need. Easiest thing for me when it comes to my health. Reversed high cholesterol, anxiety. Do I still get anxious? Of course. But not to where I need to be fully medicated. I don't have insomnia. I'm under the cortisol stress. If I did not have these two things, I think I'd be as large as this house. Because I was only gaining and gaining because my stress levels are very high because I'm caring for other people. Not only myself. But this, Susan is the one that turned me onto this. She is one of my best friends. And I was slow out the gate to get started because I questioned everything. And then I asked her 3 months in and I said, why did you have me wait so long? Yeah. She's like, I don't know. Why did you wait so long? Because it has improved my mental health, improved my mental clarity so I can be with myself, okay with myself, and help somebody else. And when mom says I'm in the better mood, I mean, she thinks I'm a nag. So to her to say that I'm in a better mood and I'm still nagging, she's okay with it now.
You've done incredible. You've done so well, and you've even lost like inches. I mean, you're back to like high school.
Actually, it's more like I'm maybe back to more middle school shape.
What? You really
Yes.
are. You're doing great, girl.
Because this, George, was me.
Oh my goodness.
And I call this my bowling ball head. Okay. This is yeah. So and then this was me a couple months ago. I need to take a new one.
You need a new one. You're less. Yeah.
So for me, I have lost 30 pounds of inflammation, menopausal belly love handles.
Wait a minute. Menopause. You're not supposed to do that in menopause. You're supposed to balloon. You're supposed to go belly big.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Did I balloon? Like I blinked and the next morning I was 20 pounds heavier? Absolutely. But yes, no, that's gone. I was a hot flasher. Like I live in a home that is at 78 or 80 degrees at all times, and I live in South Florida. So when it's 50 degrees outside, I'm freezing because I live in the heat all the time. But I don't flash anymore. And that's like the internal flame on and then the sweat. And I don't have that at all. My love handles got eaten for breakfast.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I tell you what, Jennifer, it looks like we run our hour anyway, but it's always a joy. I'll see you in the morning.
Sounds good.
I got to tell you how proud I am of you. You know, we know how much it takes to do the care that you do. And anyone that's old enough to even have grandchildren, you know that inside of 2 hours, 3 hours, you're generally ready to let them go. If you
yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, if you were around, if they were with you, for most people, if you had to deal with the diaper changing and feeding 24 hours for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, probably change your religion. Pun intended. Yeah, but you're doing 24/7, 365 basically.
Yes.
And on two people that can collude and plan against you.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder if that's what's happening.
That they would diabolically go, hey, how can we get her today? But if one hears one do, then they'll, oh, I could do that too.
I do get the comment a lot that we're okay. We can take care of ourselves. And I mean, George, that breaks my heart. And I'm okay, but the medical professional stated. And I went away for just the day. But if I need to go somewhere, I have to pack up my little old animals with me because I don't know if they're going to get fed. You know, leaving for those periods of time doesn't take away the stress, doesn't take away the concern. But I try, those are my short moments. You know, the overnight stuff I have to have somebody here. I cannot, in good faith, conscience, and safety, leave them unattended.
And you're right. You hit the word safety.
Yeah, that's what it's about at the end of the day.
It's safety. It's safety. Well, I'm proud of you, kiddo.
Thank you, sir.
I'm proud of you. You're doing great. It's awesome. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Probably. And guys, if you know Jennifer, get a hold of her, learn more, and she'll help you understand some things on how she is doing as well as she has.
Thanks.
Because if you don't like me, go to her.
If you don't like me, go to him. He's a hoot.
But anyway, Jennifer, I love you. You did great. Thanks for tonight.
Absolutely.
And I'll see you in the morning.
All right. Love you too. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're awesome.